The happiness is found in all those aha moments in your process and in your journey of becoming. And sometimes we don't want to go through the process because it's hard. It's hard thinking about the past. It's hard breaking up with the past. It's hard making those changes because we like to be comfortable. We like to stay with what's familiar. But you have to choose your happiness over everyone else. Welcome to another episode of Becoming with Angelina Watkins, where we are turning dreamers into believers and doers. This is a podcast here to help you get out of your own way, to get over your past, so that you can pursue your dreams and live the abundant life that God has for you. And I'm your host, Angelina Watkins, your queen of becoming, here to help you become who you're supposed to be so that you can do what God has purposed you to do, so that you can live the life that you want to have. And so me and my guests are here to give you a fresh perspective and the blueprint to win at love, life, and money. All right, today I'm going to talk about choosing you, pursuing you, and choosing happiness. That's what I want to get in today. I had a funeral I had to go to over the weekend. And funerals are sad occasions, but also happy occasions because, funerals are time for family reunions. It's time to see people you haven't seen in a while, have conversations that you leave and walk away feeling satisfied and enlightened as you catch up on your lives. And so I had a great weekend, although it was on not so good terms, to see some family, to see some friends, to see some people I hadn't seen in a long time. And out of that, of course, came great conversations. And what really fueled me and touched my heart was the revelations of seeing those that realize that, you have to change, you have to break up with your past and stop holding on to those behaviors that you've been holding on to that aren't serving you today. And out of that, one of those conversations, intimate conversations I had, there was a friend who was throwing caution to the wind, who's putting all their faith in God and has decided that they are choosing them. They are choosing to live for themselves, and they are going to pursue their dream. And I always love to hear about people pursuing their dreams. And in this conversation, we got to talking about, people who are so unhappy where they are, but they refuse to do something about it. There are a lot of people who are unhappy with their lifestyle, and they're living a lifestyle that they don't want to live, but they're refusing to change it to be happy. They're refusing to walk away from the things that are making them unhappy. And sometimes that unhappiness may be your family. Sometimes that unhappiness may be a spouse or a significant other. Sometimes that unhappiness can be dealing with your children. It could be you in a career that you don't want to be in. Your unhappiness can be found in maybe a church that you don't feel like you're getting what you need to get. And for whatever reason, we refuse to walk away. We live this life that we don't want to live, and we refuse to walk away because we're more worried about what people are going to say than we are worried about our happiness. And there comes a time in your life where you have to choose you and you have to pursue you. And to pursue you is to pursue God. To pursue God is to pursue your purpose. It's all intertwined. When you pursue you, you're looking to discover who you are, who God created you to be, what He purposed you to do, what is the assignment that He has for you on earth, because we all have an assignment. God tells us in Jeremiah, I have a plan for you. I have a plan for your life. He told us He even knew who we were before we were formed in the womb. He had a plan when He decided that we were going to be formed in the womb. And so He has a plan for our life, and we have to know that we have an assignment here on earth. And if you are looking for true happiness, you have to pursue you, become who God created you to be, so that you can find your purpose, because that's where your happiness is going to lie. It's going to lie within you giving back to those who are assigned to you, giving back and fulfilling and finding that satisfaction in the talents and the gifts that you are able to use in order to enrich other people's life. And then it's going to bring you an inner satisfaction, an inner happiness of what you've done. We look for happiness in a lot of accomplishments in meeting our goals, accomplishments in getting the degrees and our certifications and our promotions and how much money we have in our bank accounts. But none of those, there's a lot of people with a lot of money that aren't happy. And they're not happy because they're not living the life that they wanted to live, and they're not living the life that God has purposed them to live. And until you come into that realization, and until you come into to terms with that you're not living that life, and then you pursue to find that life, is only when you're going to find that happiness. And that happiness is going to come in the process of becoming who you're supposed to be. And we always want to skip the process, but the beauty is in that aha moment of something that was right in front of you, that answer, that solution that was right in front of you, that aha moment of, dang, that's why I'm the way I am, and that's why God purposed me to be like this so that I can do this thing. That aha moment when you realize that all this time people have been telling you who you are and what you're supposed to be doing, and you didn't really even realize it, and now you do. The happiness is found in all those aha moments in your process and in your journey of becoming. And sometimes we don't want to go through the process because it's hard. It's hard thinking about the past. It's hard breaking up with the past. It's hard making those changes because we like to be comfortable. We like to stay with what's familiar. But you have to choose your happiness over everyone else. Let me tell you a story I shared with this person. I'm going to share it with you because there came a time in my life where I had to choose me. I had to choose my happiness because everyone else around me was happy, so it seemed like they're happy. And I might have told you all this story before, but it seemed like they were happy, but I was not. I was not happy with my life. And there's always that tipping point of when you say, I can't do this no more. My tipping point was at a point where there was a friend, a coworker, that I needed to get their hair done because they had a wedding or something to go to. And so, because I can do hair, no, I'm not a professional hairstylist, but I can do hair. I told her I would do her hair for her. So it was on a Friday night. She came over and I did her hair for her, washed it and curled it so that, she can look nice the next day. Well, church is on Friday nights and I didn't go to church. So I got a phone call the next day wanting to know why I was not at church. And I said, I was doing this person's hair, because they have this event they have to go to the next day. And this person that called me gave me a lecture. Now, at the time I don't know how old I am, but I'm a good mid-20s, grown, living in my own place. And you're telling me and lecturing me about being a good Samaritan. Like, I thought I was doing a good deed, and here it is, what I thought was a good deed, you're turning it into something bad. And I realized at this point that I'm so unhappy, and I'm doing all I can to make other people happy, and they're happy and I'm not happy. They're lying in their bed smiling when they go to sleep, so I think, and I'm not. And I made a decision that at this point in time in my life, I've got to pursue me. I got to pursue happiness. I got to pursue joy. I got to pursue peace. I got to pursue those things that are going to bring me joy and that's going to make me smile when I lay down in the bed at night. Because putting other people's happiness above my own was making my life miserable. And so you have to choose you. If you keep putting everyone else's happiness over yours, you're going to drain yourself, and you're going to drain yourself dry to where you don't have nothing else to give to anyone. And then you're miserable and shriveled up and angry and bitter and resentful because you never chose you. You have to pursue you. To pursue you is, again, to pursue God. finding out who God is, what he does, what he's purposed your life to do, what he created you to be. The closer that you get to God, the closer you get to yourself, because we're made in his image and his likeness. And so in his image and his likeness, he's given us pieces of him, and he's given us his gifts and his talents. And we're not going to be perfect, because only God is perfect, but he's given us some of him, and some of him makes up who we are to be and who we are to accomplish in this world, and the gifts that he's given us and what he wants us to do. And then we have to be able to know and trust ourselves that God has given me all that I need in order to make a difference, in order to make an impact, in order to fulfill my assignment. But you're never going to know that if you don't pursue you. You're never going to know that if you don't take that leap and take that jump, of not living under somebody else's thumb, and not living under somebody else's reign, and living under somebody else's rules, and living under somebody else's judgments of what they're going to think about you. You've got to stop worrying about what other people think about you and pursue the life that you want to live, because God came. It says in John 10:10 that the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. But God came that we may have life, that we may enjoy life, and that we may have it abundantly. He never wanted us to sit in misery. He never wanted us to be happy. That doesn't mean that you won't have hard times. But when you pursue you and you pursue God and you become who you're supposed to be, and you are walking in purpose, and you have that relationship with him, guess what? Those obstacles that come become easier to deal with. They become easier to overcome, because you're walking in who God created you to be, which is someone who can deal with obstacles and challenges and overcome them. And all those obstacles and challenges are going to do is build something in you, to build characters, to show you who you are and who you're made of. And pursuing you and pursuing God and pursuing your purpose, eventually you'll learn to trust yourself, because that's what we got to do. We've got to learn to trust ourselves. We've got to learn to trust what God has put down on the inside of us. So let me tell you one other story about trusting yourself, because when you go through this process of pursuit, and you really begin to learn who you are, and you really begin to embrace who you are and love on yourself, you'll begin to trust God and trust yourself. So on my journey of entrepreneurship, I have come across many coaches. And in my journey of deciding, how do I want to get my message out? Because I have a message to give. God purposed me to come and heal the people from their emotions, heal them from their past, and help them change the narrative, help them change their behaviors and their thought patterns, and change how they feel and how they see things, in order for them to be able to overcome, to live the abundant life that he wants them to live. And so, how am I going to get that message out? One of those ways of getting the message out for me, what my thoughts was to create online courses. To create courses specifically aimed at the pain points of the people who need the healing, right? And so, as I'm wanting to write books and create courses and create this automated business, and then eventually, have a podcast, which you all are watching now, I allowed some people to come in and change what God had put down on the inside of me to do. And so what was happening is, now I'm being told, no, you don't want to sell courses and ebooks for these low prices. You want to do high ticket. It's going to help you get the money faster. It's going to help you, scale your business faster. And you should do a coaching program. And so I was convinced I should do a coaching program, and there's nothing wrong with it. But I went through creating a coaching program. I went through marketing the coaching program. I even went through doing a pilot of my coaching program to get the feedback so I could make the necessary changes before I really go scale this thing up. And in that process, things weren't going the way that I would have hoped that they would go. So then I got another coach on top of the coach I'm already working with. That coach then comes and says, you shouldn't listen to them. They didn't tell you to do the right thing. This is what you need to do. And he begins to have me do things the way he wants them to do. He wanted me to do a webinar. He wanted me to do a 5-day workshop, and that will lead people to buying some of your courses, that would lead people to your coaching program. So now he's totally changing what I should do. And it didn't work out. So at the end of this, the webinar, I had like 70 something people registered. Maybe only 4 people showed up. And out of those 4 people, nobody wanted to join the workshop. So it wasn't an epic failure because I did what I set out to do. So that was the success. I just didn't get the results that I wanted. Now, in this, I'm now going back and saying, I've spent a whole year and a half of going through this, creating a coaching program and marketing that, creating a webinar, marketing that, to just making this workshop, and no one signed up. What am I doing and what am I supposed to be doing? Like, I thought I heard God right, but I evidently didn't hear him right. And so now I'm back at square one. And in my moments of reflection, of looking back on what did I do, what didn't I do, what should I have done, I realized that I'm right back at square one. I'm right back where I originally wanted to be, where I originally heard God tell me to be, which is books and courses. And in that, I realized I have to trust myself. I have to trust what God put down on the inside of me. I have to trust the decisions that I make. I have to trust that I heard God right. I have to trust God, and I have to trust myself. But if I don't trust myself, then I can't trust God, because then if I don't trust myself, that's me telling God that who you created me to be and the things that you gave me and the gifts and talents and the knowledge that I have is not good enough. So God, maybe you're not right. I shouldn't do this. So I have to trust me in order to trust God, because God created me. And so I realized that it's a costly experience and a costly lesson for you to learn that you have what you need, you know what to do, you heard God right, you got to trust yourself, you got to trust your creativity, you got to trust what he put down on the inside of you, to only be right back around to making courses. Now, the good thing was the one coach I work with made me make courses. And in that, I walked away. I didn't walk away with, people joining this workshop, but I walked away with courses that I can sell. And then in that, I realized that I can make courses really, really fast. Like, you got a talent for this thing. I could sit down and create, the scripting for what I need and the outline for a course and have it done within a week. And so now I'm realizing I had a talent that I was kind of questioning whether or not I even could do this thing. But because he pushed me to do that, I realized something about myself. And so what I walk away, not with what I'm supposed to walk away with, not with what was the goal, but I did walk away with something, which was quite a few courses that I can now offer to the people as I originally intended to do. And long story short, I had to go through a process. I went through this process with these coaches. I had to go through a mental process of building myself up, understanding business, changing my perspective, but also learning to listen to God and trust who I am and who he created me to be, and knowing that that's enough. It's enough to get my message out there to the people, to get my message out there and train everyone on how to change their narrative, how to break those cycles, how to break up with your past and stop letting your past control who you are and how you live today. Of courses of being able to get you to understand that where you are is not where you have to be, people. You don't have to stay where you are. You don't have to keep living under the rules and the reins of your past experiences that aren't serving you today. You don't have to do what mama said. You don't have to do what grandmama said. You don't have to do what daddy said. Your marriage doesn't have to be like your parents. Your lifestyle doesn't have to be what the church said it has to be. You can be and do whatever it is that you want to do, whatever God purposed you to do. All you have to do is decide to choose you. All you have to do is decide to pursue happiness, which is just to pursue yourself. All you have to do is stop putting other people ahead of your own happiness and your own feelings and your own dreams of what you want. My word to you today is to just choose you. Trust God, and choose you. Pursue you, pursue the life that you want to live so that you can find the happiness, the peace, and the joy and the love that you really, really want. Stop living a life that you don't want to live because you're afraid of what other people are going to say and do or say about you. Who cares what they have to say about you? Don't worry about what they have to say about you, because guess what? They're going to do what they want to do. So you got to do what you want to do. Okay? Where you are is not where you have to be. Your past does not define you. You define you. So heal, transform, and pursue you.